everyone, so I'm back here with another video. This time around I have part 3 of my updated PS3 collection video series. In this video I'm going to be looking at my games in my PS3 collection in alphabetical order from the letter D through to the letter K. And I tried filming this once before, but it didn't turn out too good. And one thing that I am remembering right now is that I made a stupid comment about how in this video, how my games are all between the letters D and DK reminded me of Donkey Kong. And it was pretty lame, but for whatever reason I felt like mentioning it again instead of letting it just sort of die and disappear. But anyways, let's just get right to the games. So the first game here that I have is a sequel to a series of games that was on the PS2. I have the first one, the second one, and I got the third one a little while back, but I haven't had much time to actually play this one yet. I've played just a little bit of it. It's called Drakengard III. This one here is actually a prequel to the first two games on the PS2, and apparently from my understanding, what I had no idea was actually a thing was that Nier is a spin-off of this series here. I've played some of Nier, listened to a lot of the music from Nier, but I've never actually finished Nier yet. You'll be seeing that in the next PS3 collection update video. But this here, it's a halfway decent action RPG, but can't really say much about it in terms of story and stuff like that, just because I haven't really had that much experience with this game yet. Moving on to the next game here, and all I can say really is, well, it's Elder Scrolls 4 Shivering Isles expansion pack. It's an expansion pack for Oblivion. I haven't played Oblivion yet, it's just that I've been looking for a very specific version of Oblivion for the PS3, and I haven't been able to find that yet, so this is sort of just sitting here waiting for me to actually get Oblivion. Next game here is another RPG, and for the most part this game is a pretty generic RPG, but it does have a sort of interesting premise. The game is Eternal Sonata, and it actually has you playing as the composer Chopin, and sorry if I did butcher his name or say it too pretentiously or whatever, but that's how I said it and that's how I have to live with it. And this game here, really, I didn't care too much for the combat system, only because of one very specific reason. It's not really a reason that many people will complain about. It's just that I always feel really pressured when combat systems are really time sensitive. So I didn't really care for that. Otherwise, it's an okay game. And it does have a lot of his compositions actually played throughout the game. And they're played by some famous pianist, but I have no idea who the hell he really is. Anyways, moving on to the next game, we have Family Guy Back to the Multiverse. I have not played this game yet, but from my understanding, it's supposed to be sort of similar to The Simpsons, the game. Sorry, that came out kind of weird, but there is a video game called Simpsons the Game, and it's supposed to be kind of similar to that, an action-adventure game. You play as Brian and Stewie, trying to defeat his evil sperm brother, or whatever they decide to call him, Bertram. You can see Bertram just right over there. And you travel through the multiverse and just see different shit in the different multiverses and attack people and punch and shoot and whatever. Next game here is Fear 2 Project Origin. I haven't played any of the other Fear games, and even this one I only played just a little bit of it because I am fucking terrified of Alma. Just when you're playing any of these games, the second that you see Alma approaching you or just pop up behind you or just generally be there or expecting her to be there, it's terrifying. I'm just a little bitch when it comes to games like this, and I try my hardest, but Alma, I can't deal with creepy little girl ghost things. Like, I can't. Next game here is probably my most played PS3 game. It is also on PC and PS4 as well. Initially, when I got this, actually, I probably shouldn't go into too much detail here, but I played this game a lot. I got it back when this updated version of it came out. It's Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn Collector's Edition. I showed off the Collector's Edition in the first PS3 Collection Update video, so you can check it out there, but that's what the game case looks like, and there's the back of it as well. But I've talked about it in the past, and I've played Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn a lot. I've played Heavensward a lot, but Heavensward, I only got the digital version of it. I never got like the physical release of it. Next game here is Fist of the North Star: Ken's Rage. I have this one and the sequel on the 360 as well, but I did want to get both of the games on the PS3. I'd much rather the PS3 version. And this is pretty much just a beat-em-up game crossed with a Dynasty Warriors game. That's what I can describe it as, and what it very much accurately is. Just beat-em-up Dynasty Warriors game. So instead of swords, you just punch people, massive amounts of people, to death. Next game here is Front Mission Evolved, and I'll just say giant mech shooter. This series has been around forever. It's been around since the PS1. There's a whole bunch of games in this series, so you're bound to find at least the one that you really, really like out of the entire series. This one here from Mission Evolved is just kind of blah compared to the older ones, but it's still okay. Next game here, surprisingly fun at moments, but not too good of a game overall. It's Full Auto 2 Battle Lines. Sorry about that. I always mix up like how you're supposed to say this title, if it's Full Auto Battle Lines 2 or Full Auto. I can't even say it now. Full Auto 2 Battle Lines. But yeah, it's just, how can I describe it? Over-the-top racing game where there's also combat. There's lots of vehicles and lots of weapons as well. So it's pretty fun to play, but it's just not that great of a game. I do like over-the-top racing games. I really, really dislike realistic racing games, or games where it's like racing games where you have to sort of just like upgrade a really nice realistic looking car and stuff like that. Don't really care for those kinds of racing games, but definitely cartoony racers like Mario Kart, definitely at the top of my list, and this is pretty much near the top as well. Next game here is the God of War collection featuring God of War and God of War 2. Not even going to bother to say anything about that, because God of War, you should all know what the deal is right there. Next three games I can also sort of skip through kind of quickly. Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto Episodes from Liberty City, and Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, Grand Theft Auto 5, I've been trying to play online, and it seems like every time that I play, it's just populated by little kids that are incoherent, and you can't really play much online like against them. And the other thing that gets really annoying is that if I join like a server that's already like well populated, people will just kill me before I even get the chance to do anything, and that just really annoys me, that like I get targeted and get killed immediately. Like, that has just pushed me off of playing that game so many times. But I constantly try to get back into it, and then stuff like that happens again, makes me mad. So I need to figure out what I'm going to do exactly, because it does suck playing on your own sort of closed server, and it also sucks playing with, what's it called? Like the killing turned off, so that like other random people can't just kill you when you're out and about trying to do stuff in the game. Moving on to the next game here, I got this fairly recently at a yard sale. It's Heavenly Sword, and what I can describe this as is female God of War, pretty much. That's all that you can really say about Heavenly Sword. Next game is a game that I enjoyed very much. I have not played this using the PlayStation Move controls, even though that is a featured way of playing this game. But I wonder what it would be like playing this game with the PlayStation Move controls. The game is Heavy Rain Director's Cut. I played the hell out of this, and when I got near the end, I wanted to make it work out the way that I specifically had it in mind, but I couldn't get things to turn out just the way that I wanted. So to this day, I haven't finished like the very, very, very last scene in the game, just because every time I do it, not everything that I want to work out a certain way works out, and I just give up and say that I'll just try it again. But I'll get that ending that I want eventually one day. Next game here is an amazing arcade shooter. I love these kinds of games. Wish that it worked with like the GunCon, but I mean, considering that it's not a Namco game, it's not going to work with the GunCon. It's actually a Sega game. It's House of the Dead Overkill Extended Cut. That's it right there. And I love House of the Dead. I love House of the Dead spin-offs. I like arcade shooters, so this was like a no-brainer. I had to get this for my collection. Next game, for the most part, it is a fairly basic first-person shooter. Or is it a first-person? Yeah, I believe it's a first-person shooter, but I can't entirely remember right now. But it's a shooting game. I think it's first-person and third-person, but don't even remember at this point. But the only sort of defining feature of this game that makes it different from other shooters is that you have gravity controls, and I'll explain that in a second, because the game that I'm going to be talking about right now is called Inversion. And what you can do in this game is pretty much, as you can tell by the cover of it as well, control gravity in a sense, where you can sort of move yourself and move other things to defy the laws of gravity. And it's pretty fun for that, but at the end of the day, it's still just a generic shooter, and I'm not too fond of games like that. Now, the next game here is actually a collection of a couple of games, but the main game is what I'm going to be talking about here. It's Journey, the Collector's Edition, and you might be wondering why it has this cover, because it actually had two separate covers. You can see the other one on the inside there. I shouldn't say two separate, actually. It's just that it's been printed on both sides, and I did like the alternate cover a little bit more, so I used that one instead. In this collection, you also get the games Flower and Flow, I believe. I always forget what the other games are called, but the best way that I can describe what these games here are by calling them art games, I suppose. They're a style of game that's mostly meant to look nice and just be like a very beautiful experience overall, like something interactive, but there's no real, how can I put this? There is gameplay to it, but it's mainly focused on being a beautiful interactive environment to sort of mess around in. And I mean, they are at the end of the day pretty nice games. Just two more games here to go. I know it's almost at 15 minutes now, but sorry about that. The next game here is Killer is Dead, a Suda51 game, and it's pretty okay. I mean, if you've played No More Heroes, you know pretty much what to expect out of this game here, but most people tend to just forget Killer is Dead. just because it's sort of like when it was supposed to come out, it was delayed like several days, and I almost didn't actually buy it when the game came out, and then I ended up buying it, and I didn't play it for several months after, and I only just recently started playing it more, and it's enjoyable. Like, I mean, again, if you played No More Heroes, you know what to expect of this game. But if you didn't like No More Heroes, then you will definitely not like this game right here. Now, the last game that I'm going to show you guys is an action RPG that many people should be familiar with. It is a series that's been around for, I think, like over a decade now. And they do have the next entry coming out soon. I've been meaning to put time into this, and I have not been able to really commit any sort of time to this at all. I played one of the games in this series on the 3DS, and I did not like it whatsoever. But I do assume that the console versions are different than the 3DS version. The game that I'm talking about is Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 Remix. I know that there's also 2.5 and 2.8 is going to be coming out soon. And then, of course, 3 is coming out sometime in the near future. Not even certain when the release date is on that. And yeah, it's not to say that I don't like Kingdom Hearts. It's just that I haven't really given it the time of day ever, really. I have 1 and 2 on the PS2, and I have a couple on the PSP and the DS. But I haven't given it that much time, and I know that it's such a great series that I should give it some time, but I haven't gotten to it yet. There's so many games, so many series that I need to get into, and I just haven't had a chance to get into them quite yet. But yep, that was part 3 of my updated PS3 collection. As always, leave comments in the comment section below. Anything you'd like to say, comments, questions, suggestions, ideas, anything at all, just put it in the comment section below and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Check out my Facebook, Twitter, and website. They're all linked in the description below, and also linked in the description below is a link to my 500 subscribers contest. Check that out as well if you'd like, and that's it. See ya.